What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia himself challenges Golden Boy to release him if they don't think he's a star. Ryan Garcia's feud with Oscar De La Hoya is no secret by now, and may be headed to an inevitable true split. Ryan's issues with Oscar De La Hoya in Golden Boy Promotions first was bubbling up back in 2019, then getting briefly fixed with a big new contract, and now coming back here in 2020 during the COVID lockdown. Everyone has already pretty well formulated their opinion on the 21-year-old Garcia, okay, which is 20-0 with 17 KOs, and his demands and whatnot, which have included passing on what he felt was a lowball offer on July 4th to fight Mauricio Gesta or Hector Tanajara Jr. But the athlete, Coppinger, has a great new in-depth piece of the situation from Garcia's side of things, okay? So Garcia says, if they don't think I'm the next world champ, if they don't think I'm the next big fighter in the world, prove it. Let me go. Just free release right now and let me be. Why do you want to hold back someone who's not going to be shit? Don't hold me back. Release me. If you don't think that I'm the real deal because you're insinuating that I'm not really the deal, the real deal, and I'm not on that level yet, release me and I'll prove it to you. As far as not taking the July 4th bout offered him, Garcia adds, nobody cares if he knocks out Gesta or Tanajara, and that's in that he's asking for bigger fights. He wanted Linares, but that's not happening, and now the focus is on WBC eliminator Luke Campbell, which seems headed in the right direction as far as getting made, at least for now. Okay, it's hardly the first dust-up that De La Hoya had with one of his company's fighters. Tension between De La Hoya and Canelo Alvarez, even though Alvarez is by far company's biggest star. Without him on the roster, Golden Boy really doesn't have a lot as far as actual star power goes. At the moment, and Garcia realistically probably the second biggest star from the social media alone. Okay, now Ryan Garcia, my counterpunch on him, I think that he's a confident young fighter. I do question Oscar De La Hoya's comments towards Ryan. I think De La Hoya should understand his talent, okay? You have talent with more confidence, less confident. You have the more humble fighter. You have the more of a cocky, arrogant fighter. You have different fighters with different type of personalities, man, okay? And in Ryan Garcia's case, he believes in himself, and he's not just an arrogant dickhead, so to speak, but he is confident and he's cocky at times. And I think De La Hoya should understand what type of fighter that Ryan is. You know, Floyd Mayweather said it best. The proof is in the pudding. So if Ryan Garcia thinks he's a star, let him become a star. Don't hold him back. But you got to give it to Ryan Garcia. You have to admire, excuse me, you have to admire a fighter that wants to fight the best. Because, you know, him and Devin Haney, they should have fought, or that fight should have been on the table or whatnot. You know, and De La Hoya has been notorious from holding some fights back. Remember the Canelo Lara fight? He didn't want that. He didn't want Canelo to fight Triple G in 16 or late 15. He didn't want that. Okay, so it was a lot of things that he stopped fighters from doing at certain times. You know, but Ryan Garcia is a young fighter, and he should be fighting these guys just like Oscar De La Hoya used to do. Sure, he lost some, but at least we know where to rank De La Hoya on who he fought versus who he beat, versus who he never fought, so we'll never know who he beat. We're tired of situations like that, okay? And Oscar De La Hoya making comments about Garcia, I don't think and I don't feel that he should ever make a comment about a young fighter like that without seeing what he could really do. You see what I'm saying? I think De La Hoya is saying things that he's not ready yet. I think Virgil Ortiz is better. all that shit. The proof is in the pudding. Let that man show you what he can do by giving that man some good fights. Now, saying what I just said, there is a fight on the table with Luke Campbell. I think Oscar De La Hoya should shut the fuck up, honestly, and see what he can do with that fight. Get him that fight with Luke Campbell, okay? And see what he can do with Campbell. Before making a false judgment on a fighter that's confident and quick and he has a social media following, he is a star. He is probably the second under Canelo Alvarez. They don't have many people over there, okay? Who's with the Golden Boy, really? Think about it. Canelo, Virgil Ortiz, Ryan Garcia. Who else is with Golden Boy? Linares, Jorge Linares. I mean, who else is really over there? There's not a lot of people to talk about. Okay? So I think De La Hoya, before making statements that's pissing this young man off because he's feeling disrespected, people. That's what it comes down to. Ryan Garcia feels that De La Hoya is disrespecting him by saying the things that he's saying. Mentioning other fighters, that's real stars and all that. You don't do that. You don't make that public knowledge. And if he feels that, De La Hoya, I agree with Ryan Garcia. Let him go. That has nothing to do with the mandated thing. He can get with another promoter. He can get with Al Heyman like all those other fighters did. Think about it. Deontay Wilder, Jermell Charlo, Danny Garcia, all those guys were with Golden Boy at once upon a time. That's what pissed De La Hoya off. Backstory. Okay? Don't let Ryan Garcia be the same because you can't keep your mouth shut. See what that young man can do and then start respecting that young man and stop holding them back. So I do agree with Ryan Garcia. Okay? Now, to stay consistent, I get that. He should have fought one of those guys, and I think it would have helped him stay consistent. But I think he's right. Nobody would have cared about these guys because I never heard of Marcito Gesta or Hector Tanajara Jr. I never heard of any of those guys. So for you guys to get pissed off at him or giving him those type of fights, it shows a lot. It shows that you really don't give a damn about Ryan Garcia. So if you think that low of that man, let him go. And for that reason, I do agree with Ryan Garcia. That's my counterpunch. You guys tell me what you think. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.